When people ask me, what's wrong with your boat? I usually give them one of two answers. The first, go and watch our YouTube channel, then come back to me with any questions. The second, spin around and point, I'll tell you what went wrong. Hole in the exhaust mixer hose that rusted the engine. Deck fit, cracks in the deck and the ceiling separating. Install failure of lockers and latches. One thing that's important to understand is that the issues on our boat were not always immediately evident. And there were some that we thought had been rectified during the warranty process in Cape Town. One example of this is documented in our crossbeam crack video, where we were assured cracks around the crossbeam box section were cosmetic and just needed gel coat repair, only for them to reoccur later and progressively get worse. Another is the focus of this video, our port hull floors dropping. And up into the corner. Another example of poor workmanship, arse covering, and quality control failure. This story, like many of ours, starts back in Cape Town and unfortunately continues on to this day. It's frustrating because with some genuine care, honesty, and integrity, this issue could have been solved a long time ago.
So when I came onto the boat, brand new, and was walking around it, you come down the stairs and you walk down here and everything, like you have creaks and stuff, but when we got to here, the entire floor actually sunk in, and I was like, this is not right. I was like, this is just not right. No boat's supposed to have a floor that sinks in. So we climbed in under here and investigated what was wrong.
Under the floor, the fiberglass module for that section has a lip that is meant to support the floor above it. So you understand what I'm talking about. This is what it looked like on our friend's Leopard 45. Based on the hull numbers and a statement by the Bolt Street facility manager on production times for the Leopard 45, it's likely that this boat would have exited the Robertson Caine factory about 22 days before our boat, Liger, did. Looks very neat, and by comparison, this is what ours looked like.
So this is the left side at the back under the bathroom, and they've cut the fiberglass short and then tried to lay this piece in, this small single piece in. This single piece goes the whole way. This little dog leg that comes down from the bathroom wall is meant to continue straight. And then this, and that's what the floor's supposed to sit on.
So it's separate from the fiberglass down to about halfway. It's broken free of the glass. So this piece of wood here, this piece of wood, which is the floor, is pushing down on this, and it's cracking that, and there's load on it, which is this bit of floor, which is sitting on this. Strange.
So this is the same area on a different 45. Where we have a piece of wood here.
For this to happen, someone, for a reason that we don't know or were never told, cut the module under the floor short. My understanding is Robertson Caine is meant to have a tiered quality control process where they have QC1, QC2 and QC3, and in each of those steps there are meant to be fail-safes so that issues aren't missed. Now in this case, either it was missed or someone saw it and either didn't identify that was an issue or saw it and ignored the issue. This was obviously lodged as a warranty issue, and a fiberglass engineer from the factory came to the boat to assess the issue. Then the Robertson Caine team came to repair it as per the instruction of the engineer.
The thing about that is, when you finish a repair, if the boat ends up in a hurricane and it's toast, you want to be able to find the repair bits.
Yeah.
They should be the strongest bit of the boat, but not a bit less.
That's my opinion too.
So,
I agree.
so that's where we're going to go with this.
Wicked.
Yeah.
I like engineers.
At the time, Robertson Caine warranty staff were verbally asked if the other flaws in this hull had also been checked. They assured the guys that the others had been checked and they were fine. After the repairs, the floor at the back didn't drop anymore, none of the others appeared to be dropping, and at this time it was very early on in our journey with Robertson Caine, so we had a lot of trust in them. So Trent and Tynan accepted that they had done the process correctly and moved on to dealing with the myriad of other warranty issues and defects that they were simultaneously dealing with, including the windows being rebed, hatches being replaced, the hole in the exhaust mixer hose that rusted the engine being debated on how they were going to solve that, the damaged sail rive, and an impending haul out for warranty and aftermarket works. After the boat left Cape Town and some time had passed, we noticed that the floor towards the front was now dropping. This piece of wood's been put on to support the floor, but it's only Sikaflex to the floor. It's not attached to anything else. And we don't know what it's hiding either. I mean, you can see here. It's the piece of wood that's just been pulled out of the floor. Here, next to the office. Love climbing in floors. Notice the fiberglass has been cut off and is just floating in space, meaning the floor isn't being adequately supported. This was hidden by the wood that was glued in front. I mean, at least they were kind enough, Trent, to seal the two sides that you see. To me, thinking back to Cape Town with Robertson Caine, this leaves two options. First, either Robertson Caine were not honest with the guys and they didn't check the floor, or they did check the floor and decided to do nothing about it, perhaps to save on warranty costs. After much back and forth, it was decided that the floor would be fixed in Trinidad. The first attempt was made mid last year, and to date it's still not finished. And I'll take you down in there in a second so you can see what's been left in there. So with that, let me show you where it's at right now and what the warranty repair team that Leopard is sending, but we still do not have who's coming, when they're coming, or any information like that. But this is what I would expect they're going to have to fix. This is at the... What are you doing down here? Excuse me? So today in Trinidad, just a little bit of an update, we have a bit of a thunderstorm going on. Guess who's scared of thunder? Should you be down in the hull? She also knows she's not meant to be down in the hull because you'll not even know English when it's scary thunder. You cannot go and get in Tynan's bed. Rose, are you ignoring me? Upstairs. Upstairs. Go. If anyone thinks having an Australian Shepherd is not like having a teenager, I challenge you to go and get one. I'm currently in the second floor hatch from the front in the port side. I'm going to show you what it looks like under here at the moment. So the last repair team, the previous contractor sent out by Travelopia, used 404, which is that stuff you can see, but they did not clean up after themselves at all. Over here we actually have blue tape that's underneath it, so I don't know how that's going to come off because it goes all the way up underneath it here. Some bits of it are quite sharp, so if you touch it, it hurts. And then it's also dripped. So there's 404 dobs all through the hull, through the bilge, and obviously they could have been wiped off wet, but now they're not going to come off without a grinder. I have no idea what that is. The work quality between the contractors sent by Travelopia varied from some of the best work you can get done to your boat to some of the worst, covering the entire spectrum. This particular repair is subpar, others were excellent. Sometimes I refer to the last contractors as the epoxy fairies, because they managed to get substances like epoxy, gel coat and 404 everywhere, even on my couch cushion. While it is good that Robertson Caine rectified the initial issue in Cape Town properly, and that Travelopia are working to have it rectified in Trinidad, the question still remains: how could this happen? Why was a section of fiberglass designed to support the floor simply cut off? Why wasn't it picked up through Robertson Caine's quality control process and repaired in the way the fiberglass engineer decided it should be? How did it roll off the production line with the floor dropping in to be delivered to an owner, making it their problem? Why was it not fully identified and repaired in Cape Town when the back was being fixed? These repairs take time. Days spent filing information and evidence, letting all the various levels of people examine and discuss them, and then actually doing the repair itself. If the repair fails, as so many of ours did, you then go through it again and again. There's reasons our boat spent around 7 months in the shipyard and marina in Cape Town, 3 months on the hard stand in Italy, months in the marina in Gibraltar, and now 499 days on the hard stand in Trinidad. And it's not because we wanted to be there. Over the past week, I have seen an increase in discussion about our situation in online forums, in part because of our videos, but also because of an article that was released by the online blog Loose Cannon. I've linked the blog in the description, but along with its publication and sharing came along a few salty individuals who had a lot to say, throwing out various false rumors and attacks on our character. Now, it was only a limited number of people, and I'm sure you can guess what kind of boat a majority of them owned. Some have accused us of devaluing second-hand Leopard 45 hulls, clearly of the opinion that we should have stayed completely quiet on all of this, said nothing, purely to preserve their hull value. First, how has that worked up to date? Because looking at our hull, not well. Looking at other Leopard 45s who have similar issues, and the near consistent failure of their Perspex window installations, not well. How many times were we told, oh, this is the first time we've seen that problem, we're going to have to go away and investigate and think about it, only to find out from another owner later that they'd had the same or similar problem. In our opinion, when it comes to large corporations, many of which actually hold insurance that protects them in the event of litigation so that it doesn't actually affect them that much, public accountability is the only way to actually affect positive change. It provides oversight from potential customers, where the company can show how their processes have been improved to ensure that the issues don't happen again, and what support and empathy they provide to customers whose experience has been negative and gone beyond the norm. Secondly, with the current inflation levels and what the economic situation was like back in 2021, when I take a look at the 2021 Leopard 45 owners versions that are for sale, they are going for not far off what the original purchase price was. The value of having a second-hand Leopard is something that we would like to analyze in future once Liger is out on the water and actually cruising. But for now, we're 16 months into our third hard stand stay, still dealing with repercussions of failures back in the factory that never should have happened. Lastly, before I go, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who wished me a happy birthday last week. I had an incredibly relaxing and fun weekend aboard the charter yacht HQ2, We did take videos and are hoping to share that with you soon, but as you can imagine, after a couple of days off, the jobs have piled up, so I got a little bit of catching up to do.